Hello guys, I continue trying some experiments on the channel, so we would start a new series devoted to the games or matches basically the great players of the past as well as of the present. And today I'd like to start covering the match between Botvinnik and Smyslov, which in my opinion was incredibly interesting. I think that at some point it would be great to get covered all the games, but now I'd like to get started just by the games that ended by the victory of one of the players. This is the game number 2 of the match and the first decisive game. So now we'll take a look. But first I just would like to say a few other things regarding the channel and some developments that I plan. First of all, I've received a few complaints about the quality of the sound, and I'd like to say that I have already ordered a new microphone. So hopefully, since the next video or in a few videos, the situation will improve drastically. That is indeed very important. One more thing is that, guys, I'd like to hear more from you. I'd like to stay in touch with you and consider your comments and your thoughts, your desires for this channel. What should I record? What are you most interested in? Because this channel is not for me, it's for you. I hope that you are able to learn a lot from the videos I shoot. So please be as active as possible, leave comments, or maybe even drop me a message on Lichess or on some other sources. I would really appreciate this. And now let's get started. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, e3. The good old classical main line of the Nimzo. And here, of course, black has a huge number of moves. The main one has been castle. There is also d5, c5, well, and plenty others. Some people have even occasionally tried knight to e4 and stuff. But in the game, Smyslov tried to go b6. He had played c5 before, but probably he was just trying to escape Botvinnik's preparation, so b6 was played. Knight to e2, bishop a6, a3, bishop e7, knight to f4, d5. There have been a few other possible deviations for black earlier, but this is considered one of the main lines, so let's take a look. Here, in this position, a few years ago, Botvinnik had already played b3, but later on he just realized that the move in the game is stronger. C takes d5, bishop takes f1, and here some creative players came up with a lovely d takes e6, which leads to rather interesting positions, but objectively it doesn't promise white an advantage. Well, white doesn't have an advantage as in many other lines as well, but that's not the reason not to play them. So white took king takes f1, and here black captured with the pawn. If black took with the knight, after... how should white continue? What do you think? Black has very concrete problems here because white captures, and after e d5 goes queen h5, attacking the pawn on d5. And after c6, there is a pretty concrete enforcement variation starting with knight to e6. If black doesn't take, then the pawn on g6 would fall, black would simply lose. So black should go g6. And now it goes queen to e5. Now with bishop f6 and knight d8, bishop e5, knight f7, and white would win a pawn. Which is why, in this position, black should try f6. But the position after queen to g3 isn't good for him. Knight c7 is threatened, and the queen is hanging. So black goes bishop d6, now white just takes, and simply captures, and wins a pawn. So such a move as knight d5 simply loses a pawn. Black cannot make this move. And I hope you would be able to benefit from this little trap in your games. I definitely encourage you to try this variation yourself with white. So black captured with a pawn. And there have been a few games which were played before this one by other players. For example, they went queen f3, and in a few moves, c6, g4, castles, black got a pretty decent position. And here Botvinnik, after some deep preparation at home, managed to come up with a lovely novelty. He won g4 right away. What is the point? If black goes c6, which is something he did in the game, white is in time to push g5, and after knight to d7. If knight to e4 instead, then after knight e4, d4 and h4, White gets a tremendously strong initiative and an attack on the king side, because after queen g4, knight h5, his initiative is developing itself, is playing itself, and is obviously extremely strong. It's very easy to play as white, which is very important. So black went knight to d7, and now just h4. Bishop to d6. In my opinion, well, black didn't have many chances to improve on his play after being caught in the opening. So, for instance, here he could have preferred to castle, but not even after something like e4, d4, knight e4. In my opinion, white's advantage is beyond any reasonable doubt. For example, knight c5 is an interesting attempt where to just take and go bishop e3. His structure is healthier, and his pieces are also more active, so his advantages, of course, cannot be, is of course beyond any doubt. It cannot be questioned. Black went bishop d6, and now I'd like you to ask how to play as white. It's very strong to continue directly with e4. Some of you could be scared to get an isolated pawn, but if you're better developed, if you're ready to use your pieces directly, you should of course play as actively and as straightforwardly as possible. So white is opening up the center, he's threatening to go e5 and just crush black. Black took. If bishop e7, then I guess something like h5 is very strong. There are a few other good continuations too. So black decided to take, white captured, and black castled. What does white do? Of course, white simply continues with h5. Threatening h6, just making black either weaken his position with g6, which is of course not desirable, or let white capture on g7, which is no good either. So, rook to e8 was played. White just continued knight to d6. And here black had, I think, some chances to defend. Not that many. How would you defend as black? Importantly, well, black tried not to give up anything immediately. He should have just gone knight f8 or something like that. The point being that after it takes, he hopes to somehow stabilize the position and play an exchange down, which wouldn't be as easy. So if this knight could come to d5, black's position would be, I think, entirely acceptable and playable, but this position is not working for him that well. Still, black keeps decent chances to fold. He went rook e6, which proved to be even worse. White went d5, and here black had to give up an exchange in such a way. What else could he do? If he captured instead after queen d5, knight a6, white can decide the game with a little combination. I'd like you to find it, please take your time. White has a pretty move knight takes f7. The point being that after king f7, there is g6. And if king e7, then we can simply give a check. If rook takes, there is also rook e1, and white decides the game with a direct slaughter. So black would try something like, oh sorry, what am I saying? This is just mate in 1. You see, it's easy to get puzzled by white's numerous possibilities. All of them are so promising, but of course mate in 1 is best. So king f6. Now for instance just queen f3, when I think white should decide the game more or less immediately. So this wouldn't work, which is why after c d5, queen d5, knight a6, black is just loses. So he gave up an exchange with rook d6. White just captured, and here black took on g5. It may seem that black gave up an exchange under some better circumstances, because he already captured one pawn, the other is threatened, and if dc6 knight c6, he manages to at least accomplish his development successfully. However, in this position, white came up with a very strong continuation. How should white play? White came up with the decisive move, queen to f3. I hope you have found it. If you did, congratulations. You are doing great today. The point is that after c d5, after something like rook to g1, queen to h4, and now rook to g4, say queen to d8, now rook to c1, black is barely ever untangling, his position is extremely dangerous and seems simply bad. And after queen d5, which was played in the game. Smyslov was a true master of the endgame, and whenever it was possible to trade queens without worsening his position, he would never mind this. So queen d5, white took, and rook to c1, knight a6, and now just b4. The black knight on a6 has hard time entering the game, and of course the white rooks are incredibly successful while operating over the open files. So black went h6, now just rook to h3, getting another rook into the game. And after king h7, rook to d3. It's interesting because black has 2 pawns for an exchange, so from the conventional wisdom's point of view, so to speak, white doesn't even have any material advantage. But his pieces are of course dominating the whole board. And after knight to f6, b5, the black knight had to go to c5, so black already had to start parting with his extra material, his extra pawns. And after rook b8, a4, rook b7, rook c3. The idea of rook to c7, of course, cannot be parried, and if the knight goes anywhere, then there is rook to d5. If knight d4, then there is rook to c7. White just needs to trade the rooks, and then promote his pawns. So after rook to c3, black simply resigned. In my opinion, this game clearly demonstrates how deeply Botvinnik could analyze the opening variations and the rising positions the early middle game. He was definitely he was head and shoulders ahead of his epoch and his time in that regard, and this just was the beginning of a new professional epoch in chess. I hope that you have enjoyed the game, and if you have any interesting comments and thoughts, please don't ever hesitate to leave a comment below the video. I highly appreciate all of your comments. They are very important to me because I need to know your opinion on whether you like the way I am trying to develop my channel or not. And if you have any suggestions, please leave them. I would definitely consider all of them. Thanks a lot for your attention. I hope that this video series will do well, and looking forward to talking to you, explaining things in the next clip. This was Yuri. Looking forward to seeing you soon, guys.